Hey, how's it going everyone? Welcome to a video. We have S.H.Figuarts Monkey D. Luffy Gear 5, or spoiler alert, skip ahead 10 seconds if you haven't read manga or the anime at this point right now, otherwise known as Sun God Nika. Yeah, I guess that's 10 seconds, so if you jumped and you come back in, you are safe from the spoilers. Obviously I think if you know this version of Luffy, you've probably read all the manga, probably watching the anime. If not, it's fine. I won't go into any real spoilers going forward now. But yeah, overall, I know this is a really hyped release for a lot of people for a couple of reasons. One, people love this form. And the second one, bendy limbs. Okay, that is an interesting one. I know a lot of people are curious how that is going to hold up over time, and you know, so am I. I don't think it's going to be a big issue, but it will be interesting to see 6 months, 12 months down the line. However, I can definitely say it's a pretty fun figure, and it is a really interesting take on the you know, this version of Luffy. He never really has straight or like 90 degree angles or anything like that, so the bendy arms really suits it. You know, the box is very straightforward and standard. Selection of images showcasing what it comes with, including that bonus head for the base Luffy, so we'll check that out a little bit later as well. But for now, let's pop him out of the box so we can check out what he does come with. So I've got Luffy in the centre there with a big old smile. The bonus head, that, I mean, says this has to be the coolest faceplate ever. The eyes popping out, the tongue rolling for Luffy, and then another 3 different faceplates there. So great selection of expressions. We've got a lightning effect. We've got an extra 3 pairs of hands, one for holding the lightning, and you have the kind of loose grip and the closed fists, whereas we have the loose hands already on them. And then behind we have these 2 stretched out arms which you can replace, which is cool. And now obviously, since this version of Luffy, he never stands up straight, as I mentioned before, so he does come with a stand, which is definitely a must for this figure, since you want to have him, you know, really bendy, flexy arms, you know, real big curves on. So getting him to stand up without a stand will obviously be pretty difficult depending on the pose you go for. So definitely thankful that we have this attached. But yeah, for now, we'll move that off to the side and let's chuck him up on the turntable for a close look at the finish. So we can get a close look at the finish. I have just got him in a basic pose here, but I have bent the arm, which is so cool, no joints. So it's a big aesthetic difference on this figure that you'll notice is for especially the legs and the elbows, you won't see the usual joints. However, the other joints, they kind of blend in pretty well for the clothing. We've got some lovely sculpting on his shorts for the folds. His belt is nice, well, can flow. Great texture on the hat, which is on a solid plastic kind of loop there, so it is floating there, which is cool. And then same with the clouds, it has a kind of nice opaque, kind of almost a lemonade or something like that, right? They're kind of not quite white, not quite grey type of colour on there, which is really nice. And then again for the subtle grey coming for the hair is nice as well. So overall, I think aesthetically speaking, it's looking really cool actually. And then, you know, we've got a bit more of the tanned skin tone as well, which I've only seen clips of the anime, or I should say ads, while watching Dragon Ball on Tuesday night here in Japan, but from my understanding, I think the colours do match up pretty well. But if you've been watching the anime or you remember the colour pages from the manga, definitely let me know below how you feel about the colouring for this figure, if it matches up with your expectations or not. But yeah, let's pop him off the turntable and we can check out the articulation, because I know that's what everyone is excited to see. Now, starting with the head, going forward nice, going back, looking up really good. Again, moves all the way around, really nice and fluid. Same for the cloud, which goes up and down. And just to make it a little bit easier for the other points of articulation, let's pop this off. We can move the arms out of the way and it will pop actually off his chest there. So you can actually remove it if you want, though he does look a little bit weird without it. But at least while we check out the rest of the articulation, we'll just put it off to the side for now, just so it's not in the way. So as we can see, the hat is loose here, so you can probably pop his head off and put this on the other Luffy as well. I don't know if the colour is what colour the base Luffy uses, but at least it is one option for those that do want a hat floating loose off the base Luffy figure. Now coming into the jacket, this is soft rubber that is sitting on top, so obviously when you take the clouds off, you can move it out of the way if you want. Now for the shoulder range here, really nice range of motion. It is on a base peg, which is cool, because we do pop this off when we want to attach the stretched out arms. But the arms can cross over really well, which is great. And yeah, so elbow joint, definitely a bit of a difference here. So we don't get the usual bicep swivel, but it can swivel on the peg up there. So even though we don't have the actual joint there, the fact that it can swivel on the peg does mean we can swivel if we want. Now this is so cool. Check out, we've got I guess the wire goes from the peg area all the way up, so that means we can bend the arm at the end of the sleeve. Or for the elbow joint, I have found the arm one a little bit tougher than the others, just because it's a bit shorter, and when you push on this top part that will flex, but you can bend it up and over really well actually. So you can just basically at a 90-degree angle. I feel the arm part isn't quite as flexy as the legs or the long arm, just because there's a lot more rubber on here due to the top of the clothing and the flared out part. But you can get the 90-degree angle, and since most of the time I feel like this version of Luffy here is kind of like kind of wavy or like long bends, no real sharp angles, overall I think it does do the trick pretty well. For the peg, nice big peg in there, so the hand will move really well as well. Now coming into the torso, we have the ab crunch there, comes forward pretty well actually. Going back again is really good, and then again, the diagonal direction is nice. So everything there feels good. His belt will swing up and down out of the way, which is good. This is kind of a soft rubber, but you can't, I guess, pose it like the arms. It will just follow the molded shape, which is a little bit of a shame. It would have been quite cool if they had made it similar to the legs and arms, so you could bend and pose it in any direction that you want. Now coming into the legs, we get the thigh swivel as usual. This is kind of reminds me of the the Squid Game figures where the articulation is lower down opposed to high up. Yeah, you can get the splits a little bit, not as far as some other figures. Going forward, not too bad, but a little bit more limited, and same with going back. But it feels nice, it is fluid, but the range of motion does feel a little bit more limited compared to other figures, but I guess to be fair, it's pretty in line with the One Piece figures so far. But yeah, anyway, coming down to the parts which are interesting, the back of the shorts can lift up and down, so that's a nice improvement over the original one, since obviously that was one limiting factor for the knee range. But yeah, as we can see, no joint there. We can swivel around, and then yeah, look at that, bend it up and around. What's it, go forward if you want, off to the side. So yeah, it's definitely a lot easier to bend and pose the leg than the arm. Get a nice curve in there. We have a foot peg as well. Let's get a little bit of swivel on there. The gendle is fully attached, but is soft rubber. I feel like the one on Jiraiya may be a little bit nicer since we can move their toes, but yeah, no toe point of articulation. So that is one change compared to the other. But yeah, other than that, the peg on there feels really nice, and the fact that we can, what is it? I don't know. It's so weird having bendy legs, right? But it's pretty cool. Yeah, let me know in the comments below what you think about the bendy, weird arms. It's definitely something that would take a little bit of getting used to. Yeah, very, very interesting approach, and I do think it does suit this figure, since as I said, he has like really big curves for his legs and arms and different joints, so definitely a good figure to start off with the bendy limbs. Don't think I'd want it on every release, but yeah, definitely seems to work on this figure, even if it is a little bit harder on the arms to pose, but I think the range you get is definitely in line with what you need to get some cool poses with this figure. Before we switch over and check out the faceplates, I have switched over to that stretchy arm. Check it out. I have a normal arm here, so the upper part is stretched and the lower part as well, so huge difference in the length. Really easy to change. All you do is just pop it off, pop the extended one on, and away you go. And this one here is so much easier to bend and flex compared to the smaller one, which makes sense if you've ever tried to bend wires before. Short ones always a bit of a pain, but long ones so much easier since you can get a bit more leverage on it. But you can twist and bend all the way around. So this one here, I can't wait to see what people pull off with doing photos, because I think you can definitely get some really cool poses with this and get really creative, especially with the bendiness on it. And so far it doesn't feel delicate or brittle. I think if you've played with some, the thing that comes to mind is, I think it's with soldering, you have those bendy arms you can use with the alligator clips. It really reminds me of that, but a little bit thicker. And I've had those before and they've held up really well over time. I feel this will be the same actually. I don't really feel like this is going to break or deteriorate fast. But I guess it kind of depends how much you push it and maybe what type of lighting is on it perhaps. But this is definitely looking really fun and I think it should hold up pretty well. So for those that are going to be, you know, picking this figure up, putting it through its paces, by, you know, lots of posing, playing and so forth, definitely let me know how it holds up, you know, after 6 months, 12 months and so forth, because really keen to see how it goes. So just starting off with faces, the big smile is really nice, the scar under his eyes, crisp and clean, and I love a little bit of detailing on the hair as well, just to point out with the cloud pattern which matches in with the cloud going up and around his shoulders as well. Now to change the hair, it's pretty straightforward. You pop off the faceplate and the top part of his hair. Sorry, I should say you take off the hair first, then you can get access to the faceplate, which should just pop off like so. And then you can just slot on the new faceplate, just line up the pegs, and then already this faceplate. So, I mean seriously, this has to be the coolest faceplate ever, right? Check out the eyes popping out. We get three smaller, or I guess a big, medium, small part of his eye popping out. We get the little wave in his tongue, fully wide open, and this looks way too cool, and it kind of suits him here with his arm wrapped all the way around. I mean, this always reminds me of Who Framed Roger Rabbit. Definitely really cool. I think this is going to be fun for a lot of people doing some comedy style toy photography. So this is the, I guess, the more serious face that he comes with. You know, kind of mouth open, you know, teeth showing as he's about to go in and start punching down on Kaido. Man, oh, I was about to say Blackbeard for a moment then, but yeah, as he starts beating down on Kaido. Definitely pretty cool. I love how, you know, again, how over here whips up on the top. It definitely suits this faceplate, I reckon. And then we've got, it's kind of a similar one, but this one's just teeth showing, a bit more of a cocky smile. Pretty cool. I like the, you know, the crisp printing of the eyes, and then his eyebrows are looking really cool as well. And then finally another goofy face, mouth kind of wide open. This one's cool. He kind of does a really cool, like a stomping pose in this one as he's stomping around. Definitely really cool. I love the goofiness of Gear 5. The faces are definitely really cool, and it does capture the essence of the form really well, I reckon. Especially when combined with these stretchy arms, especially the long ones. It's so cool. Look at it, it's wrapping all the way around his body, and it's just ridiculously cool. Definitely very fun. And then we also have the bonus head for the original Luffy release, and it's, you know, the subtle white colouring on the hair, really kind of loose flowing with that smile there, which is really cool. I think this was just as he's about to transform, or was it in between transformations? He kind of transformed, got beaten down, then he comes back. I don't fully remember. I have read all the manga, but I might have binge read it and kind of skim read it a lot, so a lot of it is a little bit blurry. So definitely remind me in the comments below when he has this expression on. Was it before he first transformed, or was it kind of an in-between part? Yeah, can't remember, so let me know please. Okay, so we got Luffy on a basic pose, bendy, stretchy legs. Check out the nice curves. Got both arms bent as well. Yeah, definitely suits that massive, goofy, grinning face. Definitely really fun. And yeah, it does have the stances. From memory, he doesn't really stand on the ground, right? He's always like running through the sky, through the clouds in this form. Very rarely on the ground, from memory at least. So being able to chuck him up on the stand, have him posing in the sky, definitely is a huge bonus for this release. So the other main accessory that Luffy comes with is this lightning rod, which is really cool. So it splits into two parts, so you can use it on either left or right hand, since he does have one gripping hand for each. So you just detach the parts, then slot it into the hand, then you can reattach the bottom part, which is really cool. So nice and easy to use, and it looks really good. I love the whole full-on lightning bolt shape to it. And you know, combined with all the stretchy bendy limbs is definitely really cool. We've got a pretty nice sharp bend here on the right leg, which is cool, and then on the left one, you know, you can mix with a bit more of a subtle bend to give him quite nice motion in his posing as well, which is cool. Now I think this is really cool, and you know, yeah, Gear 5 he suits with bendy limbs, but I would love to get these stretchy arms for the other version of Luffy as well. The you know, the original was it the Blue Seas version, then his what's it, the I'm not sure what arc is it, the Oni arc. You know, this Luffy here, bendy stretchy arms for those figures would be really cool. I think we can stick with normal articulated legs, but at least the arms would be cool. You can stretch them all the way back, and then if you want, you can, you know, start winding up, which is really cool. So being able to bend and flex all the arms is so much fun. Gives you so much more, I guess, versatility, especially when they're super long like this. Get Ben, he's like winding up. Yeah, definitely really cool. But yeah, it's just nice to have the versatility with a figure, right? You know, the expressions are one thing, but you know, Luffy, he's made of rubber. He should be stretchy. He should have crazy long limbs. So being able to, you know, recreate those scenes, being able to, you know, get creative with these, it definitely is really fun. And you know, I'd love to see what people come up with. I mean, it's kind of cool. Look at that, he's got his arm wrapped around his other arm. I don't know, it's just endless fun, to be honest. It'd be nice if we had a really long stretchy leg as well to match with these arms. But yeah, anyway, let's chuck them on the turntable and we can go over some pros and cons. I mean, okay, pros and cons. I mean, this is absolutely ridiculous. I mean, look at him. Bendy arms. We've got the loose hat that a lot of people have been asking for. We've got the effect. We've got all of those great expressions. This is definitely a great release and probably my favorite of the One Piece line so far. You know, this faceplate, seriously, this is, I think it has to be the best faceplate Tamashii has ever done. I mean, look at the eyes popping out the tongue. It is so extreme that it's great. I want to see this more for other figures, right? The effect is really nice. The blue is great. It works really well. Maybe you can see it a little bit better now. Anyway, the blue is really nice. The arms, look at it. His right arm is stretched out, looping around his left arm. His left arm is coming up over his head. It is so cool. We get the little bit smaller arms, which are all bendy and flexy, along with the legs. We get the bonus Luffy head, which is awesome. So a lot of playability with this figure. So now coming into probably the cons, and I think one big one is, you know, the leg articulation is fine, but the upper arm one definitely is a little bit harder compared to a normal standard joint. However, we do get a nice fluid curve, which this form, or the, you know, Gear 5 Luffy does have in his limbs, so it suits his design, though it can be a little bit more limiting compared to some other releases. The fire articulation, a little bit more limited again compared to other figures, but in actual practice I haven't found it to be an issue so far. And the other possible big con, this is something that we don't know yet, and that is, how will this last up over time? If you are someone who always plays with your figures, always articulating, trying new poses, Will that wear it down faster? Will you see cracks in the skin? Can you bend or break the wire inside? I mean, these are points that we don't know yet, and it may be a complete non-issue, or maybe down the line we will see that for some figures. So this is something that we have to keep an eye on. But I don't foresee it being a big issue. Like I said earlier, it reminds me of those wires and clamps that they use for like soldering kits and other kind of setups like that with the alligator clips. And I haven't had any issues with those personally over the years, so I feel like this should last up really well as well. So yeah, overall I think this is a solid release. Definitely let me know in the comments below what you think about Gear 5 Luffy. Did he smash it? Does he stretch your wallet enough to buy it? You know, because he is a little bit more pricey, and you know, especially these days, so many lines, so many figures to collect. It can be a little bit hard to draw the line at times, but did he make your must-buy list or not? And what do you think about the stretchy limbs so far? Actually, so there's one more disappointment or con for this figure. He doesn't have the stretched legs. I think he would have benefited from that as well, to mix and match. But you know, who knows? Maybe we will see that on a future Luffy release, or maybe an accessory pack could be really cool with upgraded arms and legs for the other Luffy bodies. I think that would be a really great way to handle it going forward. Similar to the Goku, you know, eating set and the other effect sets that we had. Do a Luffy one. Stretched limbs, and you know, maybe give them a fruit accessory. You know, something like that would be really fun, and it would increase the playability of the already released figures. But anyway, that is it for this video. So I hope you enjoyed. Yeah, leave lots of comments. Always do enjoy checking it out. And anyway, again, thank you so much for watching, and until next time, cheers.